Hello dear students, I am Bhaskar Ghosh. I am from West Bengal. Today I am going to teach history of class 8 from NCERT textbook. So I will present the whole topic through PowerPoint presentation so that you can understand the whole matter in a better way. So I'm going to discuss about the chapter second, that is from trade to territory, the company establishes power. But due to the lack of time, I have to divide the whole chapter into small topics, into small subtopics. So today we will discuss till the time of the Battle of Plassey, that means till 1757. Okay, so I will present some slides in front of you. So let's start with some slides. So the first slide starts with the arrival of the European trading companies. Before going to the Battle of Plassey, we should know that the English East India Company was not alone who visited India. There were other European companies also who reached India, and similarly at the same time they had exploited Indian resources just like English East India Company, but not that much. Okay, so you can see in the slide that I have mentioned by the last quarter of the 15th century and early years of 16th century, the European companies started to reach India one by one. According to the time of arrival of European companies, we can arrange a chronological order of these countries: Portugal, Holland, England, and finally France. So you can see that Portugal was the first country who visited India. And we, of course, we know the name of Vasco da Gama, who visited the Calicut port in the year 1498. So they were the first country, European country, who visited India. Okay. So, and here I must mention the name of that king, great king, who had actually taken initiative of exploring those uninhabited lands, those lands which were uninhabited. So his name was Henry the Navigator. Even we should know that he had established so much navigational schools, and also he had invented nautical instruments for sending successful voyages. Okay, clear? Then we will look after at the same time the scenario of India. What was the scenario of India at that time? We all know that after the death of Aurangzeb, the Mughal emperors were very weak to rule India. So by taking this advantage, all these European companies, they started to expand both political and financial power. So you can look here that I have attached a map with this slide, that here you can see the route through which the European companies came to India. So you can see that they had followed a water route, not a land route. Okay, and they had crossed the southern tip of Africa, Cape of Good Hope. And Vasco da Gama was the first person who crossed this Cape of Good Hope, and he had visited India. So they were followed by other European companies. Actually, Portugal, they were followed by other European companies, and they followed the same way. Okay, so you can see in the map. So now let's discuss the second slide, that is the rivalry among the European trading companies. So you can see that soon a conflicting situation had risen up in India among the European trading companies. All of them had visited India with same interest. So you can ask me that why the rivalry had risen up between them. So it was, the main reason was like this: they all had the same interest, same motive. So what was their motive? They wanted to procure the best quality of goods from India at a very low price, and they wanted to sell those goods in the European market but at a high price. So what were those goods that they wanted to bring to the European continent? So you can see that the different kinds of spices, which are very common to us nowadays, but at that time it was very famous, like mainly black pepper, and another cardamom, cinnamon, sandalwood. These are some spices which are very famous to them, because actually they needed this spices because they wanted to preserve meat for a longer period. Because you can know that if we mixed spices with meat, then it can be preserved for a longer period. So what were other goods? That were the textile. Textile goods was very famous in India, and it was mainly cotton and silk clothings, which they used to bring to their continent. Okay, so what happened? Let's see. But many of them could not be able to procure goods from India because of the high competition in the market. Okay, so you can see that soon a very competitive market was established. Because not only the English company present at the scenario of India, but we can see that other European companies were also existed at that time. So a rivalry had arisen up. Okay, so and you can also see here that they had established their factories at different places. For example, Portuguese, they had established their base at Goa, which is in the western part of India. And the France, they had established at Pondicherry, okay, that is in Tamil Nadu. And Dutch, they had their base at Ceylon. Ceylon, that means in now present day, it is known as Sri Lanka. And British, they actually established factory at Calcutta. So at that time, it was known as Kolikata. It was a small village. Okay, here I have also attached a map of their factories, their of those places where they had established their factories or their base points. So you can follow the map here. Okay, let's start with the next slide. Okay, the rise of British dominance in India. So we all know that although there were other European companies in India who had visited India and tried to annex some parts of India, but the most successful among them was the English company. So why? How did they gain victory over others? So here is the answer. English came out with great victory. Finally came out with great victory. We all know that. And although they came as a trading company, but soon risen up as a great power in India. So before controlling the political power in India, they had tried to eliminate the competition from the Indian market. They were very clever. They, from the very first day, they wanted to eliminate the competition from the Indian market. And you know why the competition had arisen? Because of the presence of other European companies, other European trading companies. So what did they do? They had introduced a new system, that was the system of Dadni. It is known as advanced money. Okay, so they had also appointed Gomustha. Sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, so they had also established Gomustha. Okay, they had also appointed Gomustha, that is the paid servant or salaried servants, to look after the quality of the production of the weavers. And thus they had established monopsony. Monopsony means single buyer and many seller. So they became the single buyer in India. So earlier the weaver had the bargaining power because there was competition in the market. But when company established monopsony in the Indian market, the weavers, they had lost their bargaining power. And it was just because of the English company, English East India Company. So British rivalry within Indian native states. What happened with Indian native states? Soon British company wanted to snatch political power in India, and they started demanding concession from Mughal sovereignty. For example, from the Emperor Aurangzeb, they got the right to trade duty-free. They continuously pressed the Mughal emperor to grant more and more concession. Here you need to know that although Aurangzeb had granted this right to the company, but here you can see that the company officials, they were also using this right to conduct their duty-free trade, to conduct their private trade. And that is why the rivalry soon arose. Okay, so next, let's see the next slide. Severe conflict with Bengal Nawab. So we all are familiar with this conflict, this rivalry between Bengal and Company. So why did it happen? Actually, Bengal was a Mughal province in eastern India, and it was very wealthy and prosperous province at that time. Mughal Emperor Farrukh Shah, one of the Mughal Emperor Farrukh Shah, he had granted a farman to the English Company in 1717, and this came to be known as Farrukh Shah Farman. So, what did he say in this farman? Farrukh Shah Farman. In Farrukh Shah Farman, it was written that the company, they were given dastak, that means the right to conduct duty-free trade, except for a yearly payment of 3,000 rupees. So it was the case. And finally, the Nawab of Sirajuddaulah, he actually, what happened? He wanted to stop Company from extending its fortification, and he had denied to grant any right to mint coins, and he also accused Company of deceit. They claimed that the Company was depriving Bengal government of huge amounts of revenue and undermining the authority of the Nawab. So these are some reasons. That is why the Company and the Nawab they had actually fought against each other. These are some reasons you should keep in your mind. Okay, so let's start with the next slide. Okay, so the Battle of Plassey. Ultimately, what happened? Ultimately, the Battle of Plassey was fought between the Company, East India Company, and the Bengal Nawab Sirajuddaulah. So, the Company army, it was led by Robert Clive, and the Nawab's army was led by Mir Jafar. But unfortunately, because of the treachery of Mir Jafar, who joined hands with the Company in lieu of getting the throne, the Nawab was defeated and brutally killed. That means Sirajuddaulah was defeated at the at the final step of Battle of Plassey. So he was defeated and he was obviously killed, brutally killed. Okay, so it was ended in this situation, and ultimately what happened? The Company's victory in the Battle of Plassey was the foundation. It was like a foundation stone of the future British Empire in India. Okay, so it was the result of Battle of Plassey. And you should know the fact that Plassey, it's a place in Bengal, West Bengal. Today it's in Nadia district, and the name is derived from a particular tree, that is Palash tree. In Bengal it's very famous, and usually actually we used to make Holi, that means Abir, color. When we celebrate Holi festival, the great Holi festival, Basanta Utsav. Okay, thank you so much.